Hello everybody and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac and we are back for episode 6 of FTB Infinity Evolved. Last episode we were working on a little bit of Tinker's Construct, making ourselves the Iron Hammer, and since the end of last episode we actually did a live stream over on Twitch. If you want to watch that, there will be a link down in the description. You can go watch it on my other YouTube channel. If you do not worry, you didn't miss all that much. We did a bit of mining and we started working on our new base, which is this big dome that we've built, and it's pretty cool if you ask me. The outside needs a bit of work because right now it kind of just looks like a huge igloo, but I think it looks pretty cool on the inside, and yeah, it's pretty big. I've never really had a base this big before, but I'm fairly certain we can fill it. And also in the middle of the room here we do have some gifts that people have left me since I was last on the server. So we have, here is a gift from Infernal Ballista, which is just a full guard from Tinker's Construct. Thank you very much. We have, you should put some happy little trees around. Someone's been watching a little bit too much Bob Ross on Twitch there. We will take all of these. And then finally, up behind my bed with this little pumpkin attached is another sign that says, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, with a winky face, who has given us 3 apple saplings. Thank you very much. Those will probably come in very useful throughout the course of this series, especially if we can get some more of them when we break the leaves, which I'm assuming we will. Now, what I want to work on today is, we've spent a lot of time working on the tech side of FTB Infinity Evolved, so I thought we'd show some love to the magic side. Now, if we look in the book here, look in the guide, and we look at the magic tree, the overview states, magic works slightly differently than the tech side of things. You will find you have to progress in all schools of magic simultaneously. Many recipes from the magic side require items from other magic schools. So basically what that means is things from, say, Buildcraft, Botania, Witchery, Blood Magic, all that kind of stuff will need items from Buildcraft, Botania, Witchery, and all that kind of stuff in order to progress. So you kind of have to move throughout all of those magic mods together in order to progress. So if we go ahead and look again in the guide, it does recommend that we start with Botania, and so that is exactly what we're going to do. We need to make ourselves a petal apothecary, a daisy, some living rock, some living wood, a mana pool, a day bloom, a nightshade, another mana pool, a Endor Flame, and some mana steel, and then we're done. I think we can do all that today, and then next episode we can maybe start working on some Stormcraft, or we can finish up the tech tree here, because there is a little bit more for us to do before we kind of get into the end game stuff, which is going to take forever, but that is future stuff that we do not have to worry about just yet. For now, the first thing that we need to do, of course, is make ourselves a petal apothecary. Now, the way we make this has been changed a little bit. It requires some slabs, a petal, a cauldron now, which is a little different, as well as 3 double compressed cobblestone. That's double compressed, which I think we might be able to do. Now, over here, you'll see I have a bunch of these cobblestone left. This is chiseled cobblestone, by the way, which is from the mod Chisel. For those who don't know how to do this, by the way, all you gotta do, right-click on the chisel, put your cobblestone in there, and you can change it to whatever you want it to look like, any of this stuff here. But the cool thing is you can actually also change it back to normal cobblestone if you just run it through the chisel like so, which means we should be able to make quite a bit of compressed cobblestone. Now, I don't know if we'll quite be able to make all of the double compressed cobblestone that we need, because it looks like we might just not have enough. Oh, we got 24. We need 27 in order to actually finish this up. So, the first thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go where I'm going to get some cobblestone, and I'll be back in a second. And a little while later, once we've got a little bit more cobblestone, we can go ahead and make ourselves the 3 double compressed cobblestone that we need. We also need to go ahead and make some cobblestone slabs, and we're also going to need this cauldron. Now, the fastest, or the most efficient way, should I say, for us to get iron plates will be to go and put them in the metal former. And one thing you might have noticed is that the IC2 machines are actually not here. Now, the reason why they're not here is because when you pick them up, there is a chance that they will break. Now, if you break them with a pickaxe, they will always break. If you pick them up with a wrench, there is a chance they will break, but there's also a chance they won't break. So, it's a little risky. Now, what I think I will do is I think we might as well try and pick them up now and bring them over. There's not that high a chance. I hope this doesn't make copper or bronze, which is fine. We can actually go ahead and throw it through our smeltery just as well. But I'm really hoping that it doesn't do that. Oh, I don't think it will, but it might. We're also going to need a petal color of any kind, and to make petals, all you have to do is pick up any Botania flower. There are a ton of them out in the world. Craft them up, and you'll get 2 mystical petals. How long is this going to take? It's going to take a little while to do, so in the meantime, I am going to go ahead and use my forge hammer to actually make all of these 8 plates here. And that is a little expensive, it is a little wasteful, but in the interest of time, I will go ahead and do it nonetheless. And then all we gotta do is put you there, double compressed cobblestone, you at the top, and we get ourselves a petal apothecary. Nice! Now, what we need to do with this guy is, first of all, we should probably eat. We do have 2 chests full of just random junk related to food, because this floor here was originally all grass covered in a bunch of seeds. So we actually have a fair bit of stuff, like Brussels sprouts. Oh, look at this. Lovely, lovely Brussels sprouts. I actually hate Brussels sprouts in real life, but in Minecraft, I am more than happy to eat them all day long. Now, let's go put our petal apothecary down near the nearest source of water, which I think is probably this way. And then all we need to do is fill it up. We do have a bucket on us, thanks a lot. And what do we need to make next? So what's next on the list? The next thing on the list is to make a pure daisy, which is made by putting 4 mystical white petals into the petal apothecary. Now, there is actually, conveniently, a couple of white petals right here. So we'll take both of those and get the 4 petals that we need. And then we also need some normal vanilla Minecraft seeds in order to finish this off, aka wheat seeds, by the way, is what I mean when I say Minecraft seeds. And just as I say that, we actually don't get any of them by breaking this grass, and we still don't have any of them. Alright, that is fantastic. Can I have some wheat seeds? Maybe? Possibly? There we go, cool. Alright, once we've got those, all we gotta do, run over to our nearest source of water, which now I think about it, it was probably going that way instead of going this way, but that's fine. Also, if anyone knows if there's anything special about this, like, obelisk, I think it is, that we've got over here, I know sometimes when I come over, there's, like, guys guarding it. Other times, it's just nothingness. There is an aura note there, which could come in useful in the future. But for now, anyway, let's go over here. Let's throw down our petal apothecary. You gotta fill it up with water, like so. We're then going to go ahead and drop all 3 of the mystical white petals in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then finish it off with some wheat seeds. Boom, and that gets us a pure daisy. Nice. So for now, I will leave this here for now because we might need it in a little bit. And also it needs to be near a source of water. Eventually, we'll probably put just an unlimited water source in our actual base. And then we can just use it whenever we want. But for now, we will take this pure daisy and we will put it down somewhere near our base. And what we can do then is we can actually start to make living rock and living wood by putting either normal stone or oak around the pure daisy. I also think you can put other things, other woods that is, around there as well. Like I think dark oak logs will probably work just as well. Now, what else do we need in here? Do we actually need this for anything? First, mana. If we go down, we need to make a mana pool, which is living rock. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 living rock to make that. And then we need 5 more to make the next tier. So we need 10 living rock at least. And on this page so far, there's actually no mana spreaders, but I know for a fact, if we want to get mana out of the day blooms and the nightshades, we are going to have to go ahead and make some mana spreaders, which require the living wood as well. So let's take you, and I'm quickly realizing that we have absolutely no wood whatsoever. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go to sleep, I'm going to go cut down some trees, and I'll be back in a second. And again, a little while later, now that we have some oak wood and some stone, what we can do is we can go ahead and put down at least 5 stone, because we're going to need that for the mana pool. And then we'll go ahead and put down 3 oak as well, just because we are going to need quite a bit of living wood to get all the mana spreaders that we're going to need early on. And basically the way this works is after about 60 seconds, next to the pure daisy, wood or stone will turn into living rock or living stone. So I'm going to leave that there for a second whilst we quickly take a look around and grab some more Botania flowers. Now, the ones that we're going to need specifically, if we look at Botania, for the day bloom, we're going to need some yellow petals, some blue petals, and some orange petals. And for the nightshades, we're going to need some black petals, some grey petals, and some purple ones. Now, basically what these do is they both act like solar panels in a way. The day bloom is kind of exactly like a solar panel. During the day, it will take sunlight and convert it into mana, whereas the nightshade works the opposite way. During the night, I guess it takes power from the moon, maybe, or the darkness, and it turns that into mana. But both of them are not very good. So we're going to try and kind of beeline straight for the Endor Flame, which works kind of like your typical generator would. It uses coal or any burnable item in order to make mana, and this thing is so much better at doing it than both the Daybloom or the Nightshade. So we're probably not going to make a ton of Dayblooms or a ton of Nightshades. Instead, we're going to make just enough to make these mana petals, which require a little bit of mana in a mana pool, and then we're going to try and make ourselves some Endor Flames. And if you look over here, look at that. Boom, we now have some living rock, so we can take all of this, and we can make a mana pool, and we can take all of this, and we can start to not do anything, because we need at least 6 of these to make ourselves a mana spreader. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice. Alright, let's head back over here. Before we make ourselves the Daybloom, we might as well go ahead and do something like this and get our first diluted mana spreader, mana pool, sorry. The way that you upgrade this to a normal mana pool is by throwing a diluted mana pool into a diluted mana pool with some mana in it. It's a bit weird, but it works just fine. And then we're going to eat because we are very much hungry. And then we should grab some flowers. So yellow is definitely right for the Daybloom, as well as orange and light blue. Now, I don't think I have any orange in my base, but thankfully enough, the game just happened to give us a ton over here. And this is the one thing that I do like about playing Botania that's not on a sky factory. You'll notice that, or not on a sky block, I should say. If you watch my series with Nick on Agrarian Skies 2, it's actually much harder to get these petals than it is in this world, where you can kind of just run around and grab any that you like. These are light blue, so I will take all of those. These are orange. We'll take all of those. And these ones are yellow. Thank you very much. And again, it's exactly the same system. This time, I'm going to go check my chest in here real quick, because I don't want to have to break grass for like 10 minutes trying to get one wheat seed in order to actually make ourselves the Daybloom. So instead, we are going to take the 24. Wow, there we go. Okay, I didn't think we had any there for a second. It took me a while to see that, but we can now take this, and we should be good to go. And there we go. Look at that. The living wood is doing its thing as well. So, exactly the same as before, we take our bucket of water, put it into the petal apothecary. This time, it is yellow, yellow, blue, orange. It's light blue, by the way, not normal blue. So, yellow, yellow, orange, blue. It doesn't matter what order you throw them in, as long as they're all in, followed by a seed, we get a Daybloom. Nice! I'm going to make a few of these, just because it's going to help us speed up our quest towards the Endor Flame. Did that make it in? It did. It's a little weird. It does kind of work. That's a little laggy there. It works most of the time, kind of just throwing it in from the side. But if you throw it in from the top, it seems to work just like kind of 100% of the time. And we might as well go ahead and make 2 more of these. Now, unfortunately, you can't make these in bulk. And you can't easily automate the pumping of water into the petal apothecary, which is a little annoying. It is actually possible, and it is possible to automate this petal apothecary using some stuff from Botania. But for now, we're just going to do it by hand because it's fairly easy. And also, we need to get ourselves some food again because, wow, we are running low on food. I think we have a couple of raspberries that we can probably turn into raspberry juice back at base. But we also have kind of these blueberries lying around. Surprisingly, the juices do so much more saturation or hunger bars than just the normal berries do, which is kind of crazy. Let's not put wood down. Instead, let's just take all of those. And back at base, I am like 99% sure that I did make a juicer. But just to kind of show you how this works, because some people probably won't know, to make a juicer, all you got to do is make a cobblestone pressure plate, put it on top of a cobblestone, just some stone, not cobblestone, my apologies. And then if you combine that juicer up with something like a blueberry, you get blueberry juice. Nice. And be careful not to throw it on the floor when you're done, otherwise you won't get it back. Cool. Alright, let's go ahead and quickly grab the remainder of this living wood. And this should be more than enough to get our first mana spreader going, because a mana spreader is just some gold and a petal, along with some living wood, obviously. And so what we'll do is we'll head back in here, we'll grab that singular piece of gold. We might as well use this mystical cyan petal in order to make the mana spreader. And if my memory serves me right, I think it's something like this. Or this. It is. Nice. That gets to the mana spreader, which we can then go and put near our Dayblooms. And basically, all we got to do is we got to put the Dayblooms down like so. Make sure not to put them directly next to each other. If you do, you'll get this little like particle animation, which means that they're not working right. They don't produce as much mana as they could. So instead, you want to put them down like this. You got like nice little space around them. And then basically, mana spreader like so. And this should start to send the mana from these Dayblooms over to here, if the Dayblooms are connected to the mana spreader. Now, I'm not quite sure if they do that automatically or not, so what we're going to do is we're going to make our very own Wand of the Forest, which I think might require 1 more piece of living wood in order for us to do it. So let's go ahead and put those down as well. Let's have a look here. Wand of the Forest. Does it require 2 or 3 twigs. It requires 3 twigs and then any 2 color of petals. That will determine what your one looks like, but they are all exactly the same. There's no special traits depending on what color you use. So again, I'm going to have to wait for this wood to finish. And there we go. More living wood. I will take it. Thank you very much. 2 should be enough to get us that final twig. I will come back for the rest of this at some other point. I'm actually going to put it down just so it doesn't clog up our inventory all too much. And basically what we can do now is, of course, craft that up with some petals. We're going to go with orange and blue, which I think I go with like all of the time. It's just because we happen to have those whenever we make our first one to the forest. They're usually the one that I have left over because making a daybloom requires mostly yellow, and I'll always have yellow, orange and blue left over. But if you look now, you can right click and it shows you the status of how much mana is in the spreader or the diluted mana pool. But if we look in here, you can see that all of these dayblooms are actually full on mana. So what we've got to do is we shift right click with the wand of the forest, kind of looking at the sky, and it will change to bind mode. There are only 2 modes, function mode and bind mode. And in bind mode, if we right click on a daybloom, or shift right click on a daybloom, and then shift right click on a mana spreader, it will link it up, and then all of its mana will be sent from there into here. And then we're going to do the same thing here. You do have to shift right click? Yeah, okay. And get the heck out of here. Get out of here. This flipping ding dong. Get out. Just die. There we go. Okay. Let's finish this up real quick. We'll link you to you, you to you, and you to you. And then when this gets enough mana in it, it will shoot it over to the mana pool. But in order for it to actually work, it does have to be daytime. So, again, I'm going to head back over here. We're going to sleep. Hopefully somebody else on the server will sleep as well, so we can actually sleep. Okay, so I've given the dayblooms a little bit of time to kind of work their magic, generate some mana, and get it into our diluted mana pool. And the next thing we're going to need to do is make some Endor Flames so we can start making mana faster and actually start to progress a little bit with Botania. Now, the way that we do this, like I showed before, is using these mana petals down here, which are simply normal petals thrown into a mana pool with some mana in it. Now, you'll notice that right now we can't do that, and that is because our current mana pool is a diluted mana pool and not a normal mana pool. So what we're going to do is we again have to pick up 5 of this living rock, like so. We can then craft it. By the way, you can craft on the floor by pressing C while looking at the floor. Then you can just do this and then press C again to actually finish crafting. Very useful for crafting on the go. And then all you gotta do is drop this mana pool into a diluted mana pool, and you will get a mana pool. Nice. And then basically what we want to do is we want to put that, I guess, here for now. You'll see there is quite a bit of mana still left in here, so what we can do is we can do this, and that will start to pull the mana out of this mana pool, send it over here, and then what we should be able to do is make ourselves a brown mana petal and a red mana petal, and then we should hopefully be pretty much good to go. What else do we need? We need grey is the only other one we're going to need, which I know for a fact we have inside, but for now we'll go 1, 2, and that was just enough because we don't have enough to make any more, but that is fine because once we have this Endor Flame up and running, we should actually be able to make mana a lot faster, which is going to be kind of fantastic. Let's quickly grab some of those grey ones, those ones over there, as well as some iron, because in a second the game is going to ask us to make some mana steel, but it turns out we already have some iron on us, so that is fine. So let's head on back out here. I did move the Petal Apothecary over to here because we have a much closer source of water than the one we were using before. So let's grab you, do that. We'll put in our red mana petal, our brown mana petal, as well as one more red, one more brown. Is that light grey? I bet it's light grey, isn't it? It's light grey. We grab normal grey and it's light grey. Jeez, is this light grey? It is. Cool. That was so useful. All right, we'll do that. Boom, boom. Thank you very much. So we've got brown, we've got red. We need one more red, one light grey, one more brown, and our seeds, and boom, we get an Endor Flame. Nice. So again, just like with the dayblooms, we're going to go ahead and put it down right next to our mana spreader, like so. This one, like I said before, does run on fuel, so if we put fuel down next to it, it will go ahead and consume that fuel, like so, and start to produce mana. And again, this one seems to have linked automatically. I'm not quite sure what the, why this one will link automatically, but the dayblooms won't. I don't get it, but hey, it's fine. And you'll see already we have enough mana to make one of those, and then to make one of those. And again, we can kind of loop this process over again. We have enough mana petals to make another one of these Endor Flames. And from there, we can kind of spiral and do just make a bunch of Endor Flames. And getting mana shouldn't really be that much of an issue from here on out. So we can go like you, and then we'll go brown, red, grey, with a normal seed, gets the second Endor Flame. Wood doesn't last that long, by the way. On Endor Flames, you're much better throwing something like coal or charcoal on. It works kind of, they have exactly the same burn time as they would in a normal furnace. So, of course, planks are better than logs, but the actual coal or charcoal is better than both. And again, that will do that. That will send that through. And we could just loop this over and over again. We could make another one if we really wanted. And you can see we're actually getting a pretty... It doesn't look like a lot because the mana pool does hold a ton of mana. But we might also be able to make our first bit of mana steel. We don't quite have enough to make our first bit of mana steel. So I guess we'll go ahead and quickly make a third one of these Endor Flames. Because we do need to make one before we can finish up this episode, because we said at the beginning we were going to make all 3 before the episode was out. So 1, 2, you. We need 1 more light grey petal, which should be fairly easy. Thank you. Boom. Boom. Endor Flame. Nice. And we'll take you, and we'll throw this down again. Right next to the rest of these. We're probably going to need to go and get some actual fuel at this point because we are running a little bit low. Did you connect nicely? You did. What just happened to my Endor Flame? Does someone want to say what just happened to my Endor Flame? What the heck? How did we just lost an Endor Flame? What is that about? Oh, what the heck? The game just stole an Endor Flame from us. That is cheating. Let's throw down the oak wood. Let's quickly grab a little bit of coal. I think we should have some over in here. And I'm aware that I shouldn't be running, jumping, and sprinting everywhere. Instead, I should be walking places so there's not to run out of hunger just immensely fast. So we will casually walk back this way. Although you do run a little bit faster when you run and jump. Fun little fact there. Alright, here we go. You can go there. You can go there. And hopefully, this will produce enough mana. You'll see it's going up a lot faster than it did with the day blooms. There's nothing like stopping us from moving the day blooms forward. What the heck is going on there? I will probably move these day blooms so that they do help the mana spread out at least during the day. Do we have enough yet? We don't. This mana steel takes a little bit of time to get itself up and running, doesn't it? There we go. Okay, so once you've got a fair bit of mana in the mana pool, you can go ahead and drop some iron in. That gets you mana steel, and then, of course, that mana steel is going to be used further on down the line to make some other stuff. For example, I'm assuming if we look under Magic Tree and under Thaumcraft, I think Thaumcraft needs the mana pool to make some great wood, so to kind of get the great wood tree and progress with that. And then also, if I'm not mistaken, I did see some mana steel being used somewhere. It might have been in Witchery. Possibly, yeah. For Witchery to make the Witch's Oven, you need, I think that's mana steel, although I could be wrong. It looks a little different in the vanilla texture pack as opposed to in the Sphax texture pack. And especially Blood Magic, I think these are mana steel ingots as well. Requires the mana steel to make the Blood Altar, as well as this little piece of Botania blockage over here as well. But with that, guys, I'm going to end this episode of Feed the Beast Infinity Evolved there. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit like, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time.
God, wow. You really aren't from around here, are you? Ghouls are irradiated people. Most are just like you and me. They look pretty messed up and live for a long time, but they're still just people. The ones I'm talking about are different. The radiations rotted their brains, made them feral. They'll rip you apart just as soon as look at you. Anyway, we figured Conquer would be a safe place to settle. Those raiders proved us wrong. But, well, we do have one idea.